all gone terribly wrong. Oh no, what are we to do? It's all gone terribly wrong. The rest is all up to you.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to It's All Gone Terribly Wrong.
A podcast of absurdities, oddities, and obscenities.
You got it.
Ayo.
Ayo. Absurdities, oddities, and obscenities. We're just going to do all that.
Ayo.
Ayo, 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 ayo.
That might be like a trademark thing.
We definitely need to get on that. Trademarking our stuff before.
I was talking about the song. But
Oh, sure. Yes. Right. Royalties. Whoops. Sorry
yeah,
about
not
that.
Sorry.
Well, it is episode 4 of season 2.
Cheers.
Cheers with my, again, Washra.
I'm going to regret this.
Is ya? So as you can tell, we have been playing around with settings again. We've got some fancy new ring lights. Thank you, Ashley, for suggesting ring lights. That
Thanks,
was
Ashley.
genius. And we are playing around with our sound settings. Lord, help me in the editing process this week, because last week I know we had a lot of background noise. The mics were up too sensitive, and I tried to fix it in post, as they say. Did not work out as well as I hoped, but just hang in there, guys. We're going to get the hang of it one day.
Yeah.
I
mean, yeah. We want to provide you quality on sound side if that's...
I just noticed my hands are visible.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
That's literally where I'm at right now.
Yeah, sound quality in addition to video, because I don't want to sacrifice sound.
Oh, no,
'cause we have
right.
Video.
Right. And that's exactly... I got really excited about the video, and so I did put video first at first, but no, we're a podcast, audio primarily.
Right.
That's our main focus. So I'm definitely trying to make sure that the audio is first and the video is just supplementary, but also not crap.
Well, yeah, of course.
You
Yeah,
know?
that's what always bothered me about Harmontown is like they do a bunch of like improv and stuff, and you're just like, well, I mean, I guess it sounds funny, but I don't really know what's going on.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to do our best to keep that in mind. Buddy, you guys can't see it. Here's another video moment.
Sorry.
Actually, you can't even see it in the video either,
No,
but
the podcat just walked in and jumped on the windowsill.
like a cute little boy. He's so sweet. All right. Well, our early banter's getting long.
Okay, sorry, real quick. My cat keeps chewing on stuff and he won't stop. So if anyone has any suggestions, please help. Like literally everything.
Yeah.
Like this necklace that I'm wearing, if you can't see it, it has a key on it. He started chewing on it and then put the key in his mouth and tried to like walk away with it.
Oh, it's cute, but also
It's
a choking
not.
hazard.
I was holding the remote control today and he came over and chewed on that. He chews on my phone every time I hold it up. He chews on cords.
Are you spending too much time away from him, do you think?
No, because I make a point to chill with him like every day. If anything, I'm spending more time with him than I was when I was living at my other place. I've like been getting him toys. He chews on my watch. I've gone through like 5 hair ties because I keep them on my wrist, and he comes over and just like gnaws on them while I'm laying there, and I'm just like, yeah, you can have this one too.
I saw you post it on Facebook.
Oh yeah, because he ate our lights.
Did you have any good responses there?
Someone said something that was really good, but I don't remember what it was. I'm sorry.
I saw
person.
teething on there. I was like, that's interesting. Or like maybe he has a bad tooth.
I don't think so. I looked at him today and they looked fine. I bought him some cat grass He had it before, so hopefully that'll help. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about our cat banter, people.
Oh, I'm not. Anastasia
Rebecca's
Beaverhausen
face.
/ Tina. You know what we talking about. You know what's up.
Girl.
We at least got one person on our side.
It's really all that matters.
It's all we care about. Reach out to us. Let us know. Help Jordan.
Help my kitty.
Yeah. We need to make sure he doesn't get electrocuted.
Yeah. Oh, he eats brooms too. He really eats everything.
Yeah. Well, it's a new behavior. So that's
That's why
strange.
it worries me, because it's just like escalated. So
yeah, there's an answer. We'll find it.
yeah.
We'll figure it out. Figure it out. I wanted to do some quick shout outs before we get too long in the banter.
Yeah.
The pre-banter. So we've been talking a lot about the Hillbilly Horror Stories folks that have come over. Thank you so much again for
thank y'all
for testing us out and remaining. But I didn't want to leave out the other podcasts that have done shout outs for us. So we probably have some UK listeners from Common Clay of the New West.
Yes.
Fun fact. It's a Blazing Saddles quote.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know if that's why they chose it, but good choice if so.
Indeed.
So yeah, thank you so much if you're listening from Common Clay of the New West. And we had a recent shout out from Paradise After Dark.
Yes.
Dark. So if you are listening to us because of that promo, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We love our Florida friends and family. We hope that you like our genre of weird and strange. Welcome aboard.
Toot toot.
Toot toot. Toot toot, motherfucker. Toot toot. All right. That's all I had for our pre-banter.
That made my night.
So easy. Yeah, cheap date.
Do what I can.
Yep, that's all I had for my shout outs. Did you have anything?
No.
At the beginning of the show?
No, I just needed cat help.
Oh yeah. Ah yes, who doesn't?
Yes.
Cat therapy. So
Rebecca.
Yes.
Tell me a story.
I've got a pretty good one today.
Yay.
I was gonna say a great one, but it's just all right. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's a good one. I think it's really interesting. I heard a reference to this topic somewhere else, and I had to look into it a little further. This one is called Mexico's Zone of Silence. Real quick, I want to give special thanks to Atlas Obscura, Wikipedia, National Geographic, and NPR for my sources.
Yay, NPR. Toot toot.
Toot toot.
I pay you a lot of money every month.
Really?
Yeah.
I do like a one-time donation.
Yeah, mine's monthly. I did it to get that shout out on the radio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, girl. Yes. Get that shout out. So this is also called Zona del Silencio, and it's also known as Mexico's Bermuda Triangle. Both, fun fact, both are located between the parallels of 26 and 28.
Huh.
So I don't know if it has something to do with that.
I didn't see that.
I am going to have to raise this up a little because, again, I'm blind and I cannot even see like 2 feet in front of me. And it's on size 14 font. That's how blind I am. Anyway, so this is an area in the Chihuahuan Desert.
Chihuahuas?
In northern Mexico, where radio signals don't work and also chihuahuas are born.
Yes.
It's like Cabbage Patch, but for chihuahuas. They come out, they bloom from the desert plant life like cactuses, cacti.
I was hoping you were going to say like they came out of tacos or something.
Chihuahuas come from tacos. Exactly.
Chihuahuas go into tacos.
Gross. Aw. If you guys didn't catch it on the audio, my brother just said chihuahuas go in tacos. Rude. I do not like that. Any hoozle. So in this area, compasses spin out of control when placed near stones on the ground. This area measures about 50 kilometers, which is around 31 miles across, and it's about 400,000 hectares.
Hectors?
Hect
Like they take a bunch of guys named Hector. I mean, I imagine it's kind of a common name down there, right?
Maybe it's pronounced hectares. I'm not sure, but that does equal 988,421.526 acres.
That's a lot.
So I always thought it was
It's a lot of
hectares,
hectares.
but apparently that's not how you pronounce that.
Ba-ba-ba.
It's located in the Mapimi Biosphere Reserve, and this is also sometimes referred to as the Mapimi Silent Zone. Should have checked these pronunciations. Y'all know by now we don't do that.
Yeah, it's fine.
In the 1930s, Francisco Sarabia, a Mexican pilot, claimed that his radio had mysteriously failed to function while flying over the zone. In 1966, Augusto Harry de la Pena, an employee of a national oil company called Pemex, gave the area its name, Zone of Silence, when the company sent an expedition to explore the area, and Pena was one of the lead guys in that expedition, and he became frustrated with the problems he was having with his radio. It's mostly uninhabited. It's flat, desolate terrain with a few mountains on the outcrops. Nope, outcrop. I don't know what an outcrop is. I Googled it and I still don't even know. Anyway, with a few mountains in the distance. The disruption is believed to be caused by subterranean deposits of magnetite, as well as debris from meteors.
Oh.
Nope, just kidding. Meteorites. There's a difference.
Okay.
Yes. Doing well. Starting strong.
Per usual.
Per usual. Standards are real high at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the 20th century, large meteorites landed in the southern area of Chihuahua near the zone. 2 fell on the same ranch, one in 1938 and the other in 1954. And then a third fell in 1969 in the Allende Valley, which is near the area.
Okay.
On July 11th of 1970, the zone made headlines when an Athena rocket was launched from a U.S. Air Force base in Green River, Utah, as part of a scientific mission to study the upper atmosphere. The rocket was supposed to come down near White Sands, New Mexico, but instead it lost control and crashed in the Zone of Silence.
That's interesting.
The rocket was carrying 2 small containers of cobalt-57, which is a radioactive element. After the incident, Werner von Braun, the famous Nazi scientist who helped the Americans with their space program after World War II, he was sent to investigate on behalf of the U.S., and he stayed for about 28 days after the crash. Here's a quote by Benjamin Palacios, whose father was the mayor of Escalon, which is a city in the area, and he actually greeted von Braun when he arrived. The Americans brought temporary dormitories, labs, kitchens, medical facilities, and set them up right here in the desert. They even built a runway to transport cargo directly to Houston. By rail, they hauled away tons of debris. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to raise this up again because I am so freaking blind. Select all.
Put your glasses on.
18. 18 should work. God, I'm blind. Okay. Once the rocket was found, a road was built and the missile wreckage was transported away on that railway. And they also took some of the topsoil that could have been contaminated. A few years later, the Mexican government then created the Mapimi Biosphere Reserve, which includes a research station, and it hosts scientists from around the world, mainly biologists studying the unusual flora and fauna, including North America's largest land reptile, the gopher tortoise.
That makes me really happy.
Yes, it does make me happy as well. We'll get back to the gopher tortoise and his comings and goings
Ooh.
in the area. The reason I wanted to bring this up especially is because of UFOs.
Woo!
Yay! To make it legitimate, I had to throw in all that scientific stuff.
I like your approach. That's good.
Yeah, so I'm sneaking this UFO business in. You're welcome. Generations of families living on remote ranches near the area report encounters with strange beings, unusual lights in the sky, and an overabundance of meteor showers.
That's pretty sweet.
What's that all about? I like how I did a Canadian accent when we're talking about Mexico. You know,
We watch a lot of Letterkenny. It's okay.
I'm really excited for the new season, whenever it be.
It's so good.
Whenever it be. People have seen fireballs in the sky, not the alcohol, and at times flames rolling down the sides of mountains like massive ignited tumbleweeds. That sounds really cool, actually. I wish I could see that.
I mean, it sounds cool, but it also sounds kind of terrifying if you're just like camping in the middle of nowhere and there's like a flaming tumbleweed.
Right. It's like, is that a volcano or not? No one said there was going to be a volcano here. Who knows? When he was 12 years old, Benjamin Palacios and his brother were in the zone when a light appeared above them. It completely encircled them. They had no idea what was going on. And when they got back to their ranch, they had lost 2 hours. 2 full hours.
Holy crap.
Here's where shit gets really weird.
Oh, wow.
A gentleman by the name of Geraldo Rivera. No lie. Not the same Geraldo Rivera.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Not even sure that this is this man's real name. It could just be it could have been an alias he used to fuck with people.
Oof.
Geraldo Rivera is a state bureaucrat from the Chihuahua area, and he's also a UFO investigator. He had this to say about the area. There are lots of stories of aliens and unidentified flying objects in the zone. People often get lost in the zone. When this happens, sometimes tall, blonde beings appear out of nowhere.
Danger zone.
These tall, fair-haired aliens in tight silver suits speak perfect Spanish. They only ask for water, and they disappear without leaving any footprints.
Huh.
Locals have come to call them Nordics. And when they ask these Nordics where they come from, they simply reply, above. Yeah, I know. Creepy. The area is said to have healing powers as well. Palacios' wife, Cha-Cha,
Oh, gosh.
said that her daughter couldn't conceive. Her and her husband were having trouble conceiving until they came to the ranch to stay for a little bit, and she conceived. 2 years later, they again came to the ranch and conceived. So, good for them.
Well, noted. Won't be going to that ranch.
Exactly. If you're trying not to get pregnant, maybe avoid this area.
Or if you are trying to get pregnant, could you just have someone like send you a rock from the ranch? That would be a very lucrative business, I feel like. Just order a rock. It'll help you become fertile.
I'm going to go ahead and skip to a part because you are bringing up
Oh, good.
a good point. So if all of this, oh, well, let me read this part first. However, when oh my God, reading's hard.
It is.
However, when compasses and communications equipment are shown to work properly in the zone, the local New Age and paranormal enthusiasts claim that the zone moves around. So if you are unconvinced by all of the facts that I have laid out in front of you, that I spent hours compiling, you are not alone. That seemed like an alien thing to say, but anyway, there is some debate as to the legitimacy of this claim. It is true that the Athena rocket landed there. It is true that von Braun hightailed it over there to get to collect these samples, the debris and any of the affected area.
Mhm.
But when they got there, before they got there, they hired locals to guard the debris once they found it until the military could get there and
Really?
do their thing.
That's interesting.
One of the locals that was guarding it went on to start most of these rumors.
Good figure.
Right. And then throughout the years, other people have claimed to have seen, what they say they see. Going back to the tall people in silver suits,
Mm-hmm.
the debris or the hazmat people, I guess, at the time were wearing silver suits. So they may have been confused at that point.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of controversy and debate surrounding this incident. Another point is that the tourism, Palacios and several other members of the community have decided that they want the tourism. And in fact, Palacios Ranch is dedicated to UFOs. Basically, it's UFO themed.
Oh gosh.
Right. And he regularly gives
like
tours.
Cool UFO themed or like cheesy, like
it's
freeway exit UFO themed.
It's borderline Area 51 cheese. So,
okay.
But it's also not as popular.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never heard of this before.
Yeah, I haven't either.
And I consider myself pretty up to date on UFO activity.
Yeah.
At first, when I looked into it, I thought it was going to be one of the, like similar to the Aztec, or I think it was in Brazilian, UFO encounter, where there was several ships that crashed there. There's a lot more into that. You should check out other podcasts in reference to that. I'm pretty sure they call it the Aztec UFO incident. Is how you could search it. But it sounded similar to that. It's not at all like that. It's a wannabe Aztec. So the local people wanted to bring the tourism into the area, obviously to help their economic growth. It gives everybody jobs. So good for them. However, remember that gopher tortoise that I was mentioning earlier? Well, now his habitat is endangered because of all these randos coming to search for whatever. And they start taking pieces of the area. And, it's
I
very.
take back everything I said about fertility rocks.
Right? It's really doing a number. These just tourists going in areas that they shouldn't, going on people's property.
Yeah. I think
nature.
It's such a bummer. People aren't self-aware or considerate. I think a lot of times it is just people not like thinking about shit, but that's a bummer.
That was the story that I heard, the little glimmer of a story that I heard that I wanted to bring into it. But the real story is that it led me to finding out that the United States actually has a silent area, a silent zone, but it's quite intentional.
Oh.
So it's called the United States National Radio Quiet Zone. And this is a 13,000 square mile region of land in the United States designated as a radio quiet zone in which radio transmissions are heavily restricted by law to facilitate scientific research and the gathering of military intelligence. Roughly half of the zone is located in the Blue Ridge Mountains of West Central Virginia, while the other half is in the Allegheny Mountains of East Central West Virginia. East Central West Virginia. My brain is hurting on that one. A small part of the zone is in the southernmost tip of Maryland's Panhandle. The Federal Communications Commission, FCC, created the quiet zone in 1958 to protect the radio telescopes at Green Bank and Sugar Grove from harmful interference. Today, the Green Bank Observatory oversees the quiet zone as kind of a regulatory agency, even though it doesn't really have any authority.
Mm-hmm.
The quiet zone is also protects the antennas and receivers for the U.S. Navy's Information Operations Command, the NIOC, at Sugar Grove.
Wow.
The NIOC is the location of electronic intelligence gathering systems and is today said to be a key station in the Echelon systems operated by the National Security Agency, NSA. The area has also attracted people who believe they suffer from electromagnetic hypersensitivity. Oh my God.
I feel like I watched something about people going there for that.
For that?
Yeah.
Were they going for treatment or to
Like they were staying there
to get away from it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's another story that I want to do that is similar to this. It's related. I might choose to do that in the next episode. If not, don't kill me. But it does have to do with electromagnetic hypersensitivity. I'll get it one day. Why do I choose hard words? Stories with hard words. Yep. The area has also attracted people who believe they suffer from electromagnetic hypersensitivity. Most broadcast transmitters in the core of the quiet zone are forced to operate at reduced power and use highly directional antennas. Not all radio transmissions are prohibited in the core of the quiet zone. For example, emergency services like police, fire, and ambulance radios and CB radios are permitted. The Allegheny Mountain Radio broadcasts also at a low enough frequency to avoid being banned. It's just like a little local radio station.
They
and
probably play NPR.
If they can even get it, probably.
Yeah.
I imagine it's like mountain music, like
Or gospel.
like Carter Family. Yeah, with their jugs.
Will's
and
doing
their
really good impressions of
washboard, whatever it is. Yeah.
jug things.
You know what?
Washboard apps.
Right? Good old mountain music is what is playing through the Allegheny Mountain Radio. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Eee! The most severe restrictions imposed on the general public are only in place within the 20-mile radius of the Green Bank Observatory. The Robert C. Byrd Green Bank Telescope, fun fact, is the world's largest fully steerable radio.
Steerable.
Yes.
Okay.
Fully steerable radio telescope. Like you can steer it. You can
Rebecca's doing
directional.
a steering motion, except she kind of looks like she's punching instead.
I look like a sock'em bopper or whatever.
Yeah,
Rock'em
you do.
sock'em. Robots. The observatory actively polices the area for devices emitting noticeably high amounts of electromagnetic radiation, such as microwave ovens, Wi-Fi routers, and faulty electrical equipment, and requests citizens to discontinue their usage. Please stop microwaving. We hate that. We hate that shit. It is a matter of national security that you do not microwave your popcorn.
No microwaves. You gotta eat them kernels, man.
You go and you claim your popcorn elsewhere. You can buy that shirt on our merch site, iagtw.com. Cell phones, cordless phones, and digital cameras are prohibited on the Green Bank Observatory campus or site. Not sure what they call it. The reason I wanted to bring this up is because I thought it was a really interesting idea that we live in a time where practically every inch of this earth is being monitored, whether it's CCTV or satellites or what have you. We're bombarded with noise. You're choosing to listen to it now.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it's good to know that there are sites in the world that you can get away from all of that, because you don't know what these radio waves are really doing to us long term.
Oh, no.
They don't do studies like that.
None of it's good
anymore.
Dude. None of it's good.
It used to be that to do anything, you had to go through like a 10-year testing to get FDA or whatever approval. And now you can get something passed in a year. I mean, how is that good for us? But you brought up a good point. I'm glad you picked up on the electromagnetic sensitivity,
Mhm.
because again, I do have a story related to that I wanted to work in at some point. So I'm glad it was a lighter one. I hope it was interesting enough on the scientific
enough, dude. It was
aspect.
pretty freaking cool. Yeah.
Tried to throw in some aliens in there as well. I am a fan of aliens. I believe. I want to believe.
I don't know how I feel about it.
You don't?
No.
What are your thoughts on aliens?
I don't fucking know.
You don't? You never thought about it?
I mean, I think about it. I definitely think there's something.
Something.
I kind of think it's more like alternative, like universes and like.
That's not an unreasonable theory. Like,
yeah.
there are
I
people
wish
that
I could
agree.
like more intelligently discuss that, but at this moment,
That's fine.
I
I
can't.
was just curious.
Yeah. Like, God, what was that one movie?
Contact? Jodie Foster?
No, I think was it Matt Damon? He's like in space.
Is it new?
Go figure. It's not new. It's newer. And then he's like, all I remember is him being like in a library, but he's like floating around and he like pulls a book and his daughter.
Oh,
it was-
yes. Interstellar.
yeah.
Is that what it was?
McConaughey.
Yes.
Was it McConaughey? Oh, that's
Yeah, it
why
was
I liked
like-
it so much.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure. But yes, that was a good one. But yeah, no, my favorite quote was from Contact, and
Mhm.
it was, somebody asked, do you think that there's life out there? And I think it was her dad that said, well, I mean, yeah, otherwise it'd be an awful waste of space, and I was like, that got me really thinking, like, there is so much space out there. There's so many universes and galaxies that, like, there's no way that this is like the only time this particular set of circumstances has come about to facilitate life of some sort.
Yeah.
What that looks like on other planets, who knows? It's unlikely. I really believe that the War of the Worlds situation would be a thing as far as germs, like they can't handle our germs, we can't handle theirs, so that would be an issue. In fact, real quick, that Aztec alien story that I was telling you about, or UFO crash that I was mentioning earlier,
Yeah.
I have a theory that the way they're described is like they look like they kind of been skinned. Honestly, their skin was like red and like goo, like shimmery, like slimy looking.
Mhm.
And the people that touched them or got near them ended up dying of some mysterious disease. So I'm thinking that because they crashed, they weren't expecting to be out of their own ship and in our atmosphere. So whatever they had, their germs transferred to the people that were involved. And then they also didn't survive because they were exposed. And my theory is that the grays that everybody sees, I think the grays are the little short ones. Now I'm kind of questioning myself. And
the grays are,
and how they have like the big eyes and such.
Yeah.
I think that those are their spacesuits.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
those are their suits that they don to be able to be in our in
That's
our
a good
atmosphere
theory.
and whatever climate ecosystems, blah blah blah.
Right.
You had something to say? Would you like to come to the microphone?
Will do. Will do.
You had
have
your
to come
hand
to the
raised.
microphone.
Yeah.
You did.
Matt Damon was in Interstellar, but not the main guy.
Oh,
Oh,
So
okay.
you weren't wrong.
There's another one that was really, I can't remember movies for shit, man. Thomas let me borrow it and it was super good, but I don't.
The one where he's trapped on Mars.
No, it wasn't.
that's the one I thought you were talking
No,
about.
it wasn't him. It was like the life forms that we were talking to kind of looked like big like ink blots. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
The Arrival.
The Arrival, is that what it was?
And they had was it like multiple countries were talking to them at different times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that one was really good.
Yeah.
It was depressing. It wasn't depressing, but the ending was sad.
Yeah.
That
I
was
love
good.
alien movies.
I used to, I guess, like being raised, like in the religion that I was raised in, like I was always taught that like
Which was what again?
Methodist
Okay.
and Catholic, but more so Methodist was like, if God had made aliens, then he would have let us know about them. And so it was kind of always like we don't talk about this thing.
Right.
It's not a thing. So it took me a while to like come around and being like, this is a thing. It's got to be a thing.
I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like the most recent Pope has acknowledged the existence of extraterrestrials.
Yeah.
Or at least the possibility of it.
Yeah.
I can't say that is 100% fact. It could be something I dreamt.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. I suck so hardcore. I'm sorry. Well,
that was awesome.
thank you.
You're welcome.
It felt better honestly, it felt better. Like, I thought it was more interesting when I was researching it and writing
super
it.
interesting.
Then
like
it came
for
across.
real. No, I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Okay, good.
It was a good one. I feel like it shook it up. It was a good new topic.
Yeah.
For sure.
I wanted to go lighthearted and also a little bit of scientific. Yeah, so thanks. This is I guess we'll take a mid episode break and insert something. This is the middle of the show where we talk about iTunes and Patreon.
Boop.
We do not have any iTunes reviews this week.
That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but to be honest,
To be fair.
to be fair, I lie. Sorry, you guys. You guys need to watch Letterkenny so you can get all our weird jokes.
Yes.
Anyway, I've been listening to a podcast about podcasting, and I've actually learned a lot. Like, it really doesn't matter about iTunes reviews. It's helpful for us to gauge where we are at and what we need to improve on or what we're doing well and that we should continue to do. But as far as like, it really doesn't matter. I know a lot of podcasts say, please rate us on iTunes because it gets us up the charts and more people can find us. But the truth is, it doesn't matter about that. What matters is when you share the podcast with somebody else. So I'd like to institute a one share dare.
That's fun.
If everybody could just share the show with one person that you think might possibly enjoy our brand of weird, then that would help us tremendously. So
I love it.
please do it.
Do it.
Are you dead to me?
Yeah.
Just kidding. But yeah, one share dare. We'll do a post about it on the Facebook page. Damn it. I Freudianed myself.
You did.
Because I wanted to talk about the Facebook group at the end of the episode. So yeah, one share dare. But so those are all the words that I say too much.
I just like the exasperated at
When I do something wrong?
the end. Like when you just said it.
Oh. Good news. We have a new Patreon supporter.
Yay!
Hunter, thank you so
Hunter!
much.
Yay, Hunter!
I'm really enjoying Hunter's enthusiasm for our show.
Hunter's a sweetheart.
He's blowing up our Instagram, blowing up our Facebook. He's got us on Patreon now. He's commented on our YouTube. Hunter, you're my new best friend. And we've never
still
even met.
my friend for
Oh,
me.
yes, I'm sorry.
No, Hunter, you are wonderful. Thank you.
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we
He's
be
supposed
friends?
to be down here sometime, so we'll have to get drinks with him.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to remind everybody that 10% of our Patreon funds for the month of September will be going to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. This is Suicide Prevention Week as we are taping it. Suicide prevention in America, in the United States. But I wanted to challenge our international listeners, since we apparently have some, that you should probably find an organization in your country. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I know that it was a topic of conversation at some of, oh God, why can't I ever remember facts and details? There was a event where it was a multi-nation event where the topic of mental health and suicide was presented.
Uh-huh.
And many governments are now pursuing that challenge of how to, help their
People.
What is it?
Citizens.
That's the word. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Many countries are now pursuing avenues to help their citizens as far as mental health goes. So find an organization in your country and support them.
Yes.
And we also presented the challenge last week to just to reach out to somebody, that may be struggling. Just say hi. How are you? Are you doing okay?
Yeah. Just let people know that you're there for them.
Yeah.
That you think about them.
It means more than you think. It's a little gesture.
It does.
It does a lot.
And even if they don't talk to you, don't take it personally. Just the fact that they know that someone is reaching out and gives a shit is a really big deal.
Like that poor woman that asked for a photograph last week. Anyway, so you have to listen to last week's episode to understand that. But that is all I got. Thank you, Hunter, for becoming a Patreon supporter. Your sticker is in the mail.
Woot.
Woot woot.
Woot woot.
We hope you're enjoying our shit show series.
Indeed.
Jordan.
Rebecca.
Do you have a story to tell me?
I do.
Then please tell me the story.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Okay. I'm pulling that shit up right now.
I anxiously await your story.
Okay. Mine's a little shorter, which is good. Are you familiar at all with Alice Lee Roosevelt? Theodore
Yes.
Roosevelt? Okay.
Is this the one that said well-behaved women rarely make it in history? Or
I don't think so.
Okay.
That was always tagged as Marilyn Monroe's, but I'm not sure if that was ever pinpointed who specifically quoted that, but it is a good quote.
But and it's basically her rule, right? I mean, how she lived. She was a crazy girl, right? Or wild and crazy girl?
Yeah, she was considered the White House's wild child.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So
this is brief. I tried to sum it up as much as I could. So if you're super interested into her, she is pretty freaking awesome. So by all means, look into it more after this.
The whole Roosevelts are amazing. I think, doesn't Kim Burns have a documentary just on the Roosevelts?
I don't know.
That whole lineage is amazing to check out. Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
You're good.
You triggered me with the word Roosevelt.
Triggered. So she was the eldest child of Theodore Roosevelt. And the only child from his first wife, who was Alice Hathaway Lee. She was a Boston banking heiress. His wife died 2 days after having Alice Lee Roosevelt due to an undiagnosed kidney failure. And oddly and extremely tragically, Theodore's mom had died 11 hours earlier of typhoid fever. How devastating.
Yeah, and what's really messed up is that's not uncommon back then.
No, because that was early 1900s. And the two most prominent women in your life. Anyways, we won't marinate on that. So he was obviously very, very distraught. And so he couldn't even, she was named after her mother and he couldn't even speak her name. And so since her name, they gave her the middle name Lee, he just called her baby Lee all the time. And as Alice grew, she kind of stuck with that and preferred to be called Miss L as she was older. But Theodore, they were born in New York. They lived in New York. He left basically as a coping mechanism, just because he just lost his shit. And so he left Alice in the care of his sister for, it says 2 years. I feel like it might have been a little longer than that. She had like just a huge influence on Alice, like her whole life, because she was like a really strong, independent woman. And Alice later quoted that if her auntie had been a man, that she would have been president because she was that much of a baller.
Right.
So eventually Theodore came back and then he married Edith Kermit Carroll. And they took Alice back in. The two of them had 5 children together, and Edith was with Theodore until his death. Alice's relationship with Edith was obviously rocky. Mm-hmm. And one time Edith actually even told Alice that if her mother had lived, that she would have bored Theodore to death.
Oh my God.
Just super fucked up.
Right.
So through Alice's life, she still received like limited attention from her father. And then it's like, and in addition to that, she has 5 other siblings now that she has to like fight for attention through. But it kind of like ultimately helped her out because from that and the influence of her aunt, she was like extremely independent and really, really outgoing. Her father and Edith tried to send her to a conservative school for girls. And Alice told them, if you send me, I will humiliate you. I will do something that will shame you. I tell you I will.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that.
She's a little spitfire.
I know, right? I was going to say spitball, but that was wrong.
Spitball.
She's a little spitball. Nice.
So when Roosevelt became president after McKinley's assassination, Alice was 17 and she like instantly became a celebrity. She was like a fashion icon. Right. She's really, really pretty. Like if you look at the pictures of her, and her mother was too. So it's like everyone, you know, through her whole life, they were like, you're gorgeous, just like your mother.
Right.
In 1902, she wore a blue gown that became known as Alice Blue.
Ooh.
And
to have a color named after you.
Right?
Wow.
It immediately began trending in women's fashion. So everyone was like, I need this Alice Blue dress. She was obviously a notable rule breaker of her time, which again, like to reiterate, this is early 1900s. Like this is not a woman's world yet.
Right. But when you're the president's daughter.
But still, like even prior to that, but yeah. So it was noted, when she visited Paris that in 15 months, she attended 407 dinners, 350 balls, and 300 parties. I'm not really sure how that breaks down, but
she must have had multiple dinners a night.
Are you like, you go to a dinner and then a ball and then like an after party?
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be a little exaggerated. She was having a good time. She was living her best life.
Yep.
She smoked cigarettes in public.
What?
She
Shameful.
rode in men. She probably rode in, or they rode in her. Cut this part out, maybe. I don't know. She rode in cars with men.
Wait, that's not a thing? You can't do
in
that?
the early 1900s? Not if they were like, they weren't courting you.
You can't ride in a car.
Yeah, dude. Like Zelda Fitzgerald had that reputation too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, maybe I'll cover her sometime.
Yeah.
She's pretty baller as well. She stayed out late partying. That was a given. Also, this is kind of awesome, but she had a pet snake in the White House. Its name was Emily Spinach.
I think I heard this.
Yeah. It was named after her aunt who was a spinster, and it was spinach because it was a green snake. So then in 1905, like she was very involved in politics with her father. They traveled with William Howard Taft, who was Theodore's Secretary of War. They led the American delegation to Japan, Hawaii, China, Philippines, and Korea. And while they were on the ship, she jumped into the pool. She was clothed and convinced one of the congressmen to join her in the pool. And that was like a huge deal.
Yeah, and I can imagine.
She got a bunch of grief for it, but she was like, I was wearing my clothes. It was like, essentially even more conservative than a swimsuit.
Yeah, but now they're all soaking wet and probably chiffon and see-through.
Right. In the meetings at the Oval Office, she would attend them and like just kind of like state her political advice, whether it be asked for or not. Roosevelt threatened to throw her out the window if she interrupted again once, and then commented to his friend, I can either run the country or I can attend to Alice, but I cannot possibly do both.
Right.
And she, you know, obviously like always thrived to be the center of attention. So in December 1905, after returning to Washington from diplomatic travels, she became engaged to Nicholas Longworth III. He was a Republican U.S. House of Representatives member, blah, blah, blah. He was 14 years older than her, which is whatever. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, back then that wasn't like a big deal.
No, not at all. I mean, it's really not now either.
Yeah.
Unless
How old
you're
is
like,
she again at this point?
She was 20.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, she wore a blue wedding dress.
Alice Blue.
Yes. And she cut the wedding cake with a sword that she obtained from a military aide that was at the reception. And there's a picture of it. It's pretty cool.
That is freaking awesome.
Shortly after her marriage for her father, she campaigned against her husband, which caused a pretty large rift in their marriage. She's noted having like multiple affairs. The longest one was with Senator William Borah, who is more than likely, or who was more than likely her
baby daddy.
Yeah.
For shame.
Scandalous.
These Roosevelts, I'll tell you what.
Right? When they moved out of the White House, Alice buried a voodoo doll of the new First Lady, Nellie Taft, in the front yard.
Nice.
And then the Taft White House banned her. It didn't specify why, but then she was banned again during Woodrow Wilson's administration because she made a joke at his expense.
Oh, oops.
This woman does not have any filter.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck
Right?
about you.
I
Or run the thing
love
that
it.
you do.
So during the Great Depression, she, you know, kind of hit a sore spot along with everyone else. She appeared in tobacco advertisements to get her monies back. And she also published a book, which supposedly sold well. And then a few other just like notable moments of her unconventional life as a woman in the early 1900s.
I'm trying to find this sword cake cutting pic.
It's out there somewhere, I think. I think there's like, it's a color imposed one or something.
Yeah.
So an example of her attitudes on race in 1965, her black chauffeur, Richard Turner, who was like also one of her best friends, was driving her to an appointment. And during the trip, he pulled out in front of a taxi and the driver got out and said, what do you think you're doing, you black bastard? And Turner kind of just, you know, like let it go.
Yeah.
But Alice got out and told the taxi driver, he's taking me to my destination, you white son of a bitch. So good.
I love her. You white son of a bitch.
You're right. Another notable quote from her was, let's see, bloop, 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 bloop. Senator Joseph McCarthy jokingly said at a party, here's my blind date, I'm going to call you Alice. And in retort, sarcastically, she said, Senator McCarthy, you are not going to call me Alice. The truckman, the trash man, and the policeman on my block may call me Alice, but you may not.
Nice.
Low blow. And once she informed President Lyndon B. Johnson that she wore a wide-brimmed hat so he couldn't kiss her, which I love.
That is awesome.
Right?
Smart lady.
She is awesome, yeah.
So that was Senator Joseph McCarthy, right?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad because that guy is a son of a bitch too.
Right?
McCarthyism, you know what I'm talking about? Fuck that dude. Sorry. There's a lot of F-bombs coming for me today. Sorry.
I know. I'm impressed, I want to say.
For once, you're relieved it's not you.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
So Dude, she lived a long ass life. It was kind of a bummer because her daughter had a daughter, and then her daughter passed away. So she actually like fought to get custody of her granddaughter and basically raised her. And then Alice died in 1980. She was 96.
Oh, wow.
She died of emphysema and pneumonia.
From all that smoking.
And was buried in D.C. And she was actually the last surviving child of Theodore Roosevelt. She was the first and the last.
That's crazy.
She was a badass her entire life. Yeah. So that's Alice Lee Roosevelt.
I love the Roosevelts. It is the Kim Burns documentary that I was thinking of earlier. So if you haven't seen that, you should definitely check it out. Her dad, old Teddy.
Yeah.
I can understand why she is the way she is because of how he was. He was also very tenacious. There's a rumor that he drank like 6 pots of coffee or more a day. I mean, he was always doing something. I mean, never sat still. You know? So it makes sense that she would be similar.
Right.
And then I also looked up the quote, well-behaved woman quote.
Mm-hmm.
It's been attributed to Marilyn Monroe, and it's also been attributed to Eleanor Roosevelt, but it was actually Laurel Thatcher Ulrich, who is a American historian who was writing about, I believe, Eleanor Roosevelt when she made that quote, or when she strung those pretty words together.
I dig it.
So there's your fun fact on that. Very cool. No, I'm glad you covered her. I love that.
Oh, shout out to Thomas too, because he actually had suggested her like quite a while ago. So
Thomas.
She was on my list. Thomas, you're fucking killing
You
it,
should
man.
just write our stuff
Yeah.
and send it in. We'll be surprised. It'll be a surprise to us.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yay. Shout out Thomas. Shout out Hunter. Shout out Hillbilly Horror Stories peeps. Shout out Common Clay of the New West peeps. Shout out Paradise After Dark peeps. And if you don't mind, I'm going to reiterate that one share dare.
Yes.
Please share it with one person that you think might enjoy our stuff. And that would do us a really big solid.
Even if you don't think they might, just do it anyways.
Oh, I was going to check on the scoring of our group thing.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a go.
Yes.
Okay, so the results of the poll for whether or not we should get a group page is 87-13. So we gonna do it.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
We're gonna start a group page so everybody can share with us. I propose that we call it the Goner Party.
Yes, I love it.
So we'll just go ahead and make that right now. Goner Party. So thank you again for joining us for episode 4 of season 2. It's all gone terribly wrong. A podcast of absurdities, oddities, and obscenities.
Ayo.
We are your hosts,
Jordan Stock
and Rebecca Carlson. And until the next time it all goes terribly wrong,
we're sorry.
Ish.
Nope.
It's all gone to